join us tonight. All right, item number 1 is the approval of the draft minutes from the April 8th meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read them? And if so, any additions, corrections, deletions, any suggestions? All right, and can I get a motion from the floor for acceptance?
So moved.
Bill and Brimer, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Okay. Item number 2, Higby Hills Estates. Tonight we're looking at a minor two-lot subdivision at Pebble Creek Lane and Mohawk Street. The resident's purchasing additional property to add to his existing parcel. And this is looking to go to County Plan 239. So do you have any information?
Well, everyone has a copy of the map. As you can see, Mr. Mancuso is here from Valnambar. The parcel itself is in excess of 5 acres in size. They propose to cut out 1.650 acres, and I apologize if I'm reading that wrong because I can't see it because it's so small. That 1.650 acre parcel is going to connect to the Day parcel that you'll see in front of it. And they're going to join those into one lot. So the Days are buying this 1+ acre behind, and they're going to make it all one parcel. It appears it does have frontage on Mohawk Street. The remaining parcel has frontage on Pebble Creek Lane. I saw no problem. I've reviewed the descriptions and everything looks fine.
Mr. Mancuso, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, it's a portion of the property that we've never used. The creek runs through the middle of it, and Mr. Day expressed an interest to extend his backyard, and that's why I want to subdivide.
Before we go around the table, Rick?
I have no issues.
No issues with the creek running through? No issues?
Rick's vendor.
All right. Herb, any concerns?
No, as long as Joe's okay.
Okay, Brian, or Brimer, excuse me, any concerns? No. I don't have any. John?
I have concerns. So my question, I have two lines of questioning here. One is the history of the subdivision itself. Being involved with the New Hartford Stormwater Committee for many years, I've seen how subdivisions that keep getting subdivided after the fact have really wreaked havoc with the town and caused the town to have to put in extra structures and buy land and spend a lot of money to remediate what is the developer's fault. In my office today, at lunchtime, I pulled the plans that we had. We had an approved health department plan, probably the original subdivision, I believe it was 86 or 87. On that, one of the lots was to be deeded to the town for a retention basin and not a building lot. And it is built on. And there are other things. There's a guardrail that was supposed to be installed and some other things that weren't installed. So this was an approved health department plan. I don't know what the history since that at the town, if they came to the town for any changes subsequent. I do remember.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yes.
Has that anything to do with these two lots?
Well, directly, it all involves stormwater.
Right, but the two lots in particular, if there was a lot that was supposed to be deeded to the down, I mean, that's kind of a singular issue. This other issue is the addition of this land to that parcel.
And Liz, what they're doing is they're blending it into Jim Day's
I do understand.
lot,
have a good point,
and
but I
that
don't
can't be built on.
I
You can't have two.
understand.
Okay.
So my second issue is in the applications that we get, okay, the EAF mapper says that there is, and it's checked no on the paperwork that we have from the applicant, that there is not a stream or regulated, et cetera, and there is. No, I'll find it because I gave it in my
Is it the environmental resources that may be affected?
Yes.
Okay. So it's item number 1 on page 1 of page 3.
Yeah, actually it is. Well, I mean, the whole thing, right? So before the planning board gets this, it's supposed to be reviewed by the board, okay? I mean, start off with page, and I'm being a stickler, and I'm using this as an example, but it's happened before. Page 1, all land uses that occur or adjoining. It's rural up there, non-ag rural, and there is agriculture there. There are fields, and so, I mean, it's just one question that was not correct. But on page 2 of 3, number 13, if you ran the EAF mapper through the DEC website, you would find that, in fact, is yes, any portion of the site enjoying contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by federal, state, local, and there are. You know, and that is the parcel in question, okay? So whether that has any other implications, yes, it's being added to the big parcel, so it's not going to be built upon, but the town has had historic problems when approved subdivisions get further subdivided. Whether it's, we've seen it happen, and I want to find out why this parcel was supposed to be deeded to the town and why it's built upon.
Which parcel is
Parcel
that?
47.
We didn't build anything.
Yes, it is. It's right there in the original
Yeah,
plan.
that was changed. This was converted.
Yes, when,
I don't know.
yeah, that's what I'm
Well, like it was converted and approved by the town. You had to research further into the records. We prepared.
No, I
We
understand
prepared.
that. I understand that.
We
When
placed pipes here to back water up, and we converted that to the building lot and to tank water.
Yes,
And the
I
town
see
approved
that,
it.
okay, and that probably was when I was on the planning board, so I don't remember another action.
Paul, any comments as it relates to
No, I ran the
the
tracker, and I guess I would have looked at the street going.
Well, but the tracker runs itself, so you hit the parcel.
Yes, well, this is the tracker, and this results. in-
Right, yes. But I mean, the EAF form, it will fill it out for you. But the one that
Oh,
we
I
have,
didn't realize that.
yes, it will fill it out for you, and make sure that it be one of our other projects.
But honestly, as it relates to filling out the secret form, if there's a mistake, there's a mistake. And I'm not quite sure there is yet, but the majority of people that come before this board don't have tracker, okay, and they don't have this opportunity to go in and be able to do some of this more sophisticated
It's
things.
a public website.
It could be public, it could be public,
No,
doesn't mean we're.
it's for use for any, it's.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, some people are very sophisticated using types of software and some people aren't.
Okay.
So if it's something the planning board wants to take a look at and mandating that going forward, I mean, that's an open option. But I do want to go back to your question. It starts as it relates to that number on page 1 of 3, and the environmental resources that may be affected. So, Rick Sherman, Highway Superintendent, I have a question.
What?
So you said you didn't have any issue with the stream up there, and is it that it's your past history you haven't had a problem with it up there?
The past history, the development has been there for years and years. At one time, they were looking to go beyond the stream to sell those building lots, and they opted not to do that. So now I believe they're extending those building lots prior to going back on the other side of the grid. So we've had no issues up there with this stream.
And nothing we built there unless you get a permit. In order to do something, to grade or build something on that piece and fill that in and affect the creek, you need to go for a permit.
But I think what she's.
And at that time, I guess is the time you would say no if they
Right,
wanted to build
but
something.
I think what she's, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, is that, because I've been there on some of these projects too, it's this one and this one and this one, and you put them all together, all of a sudden we have stormwater problems that we didn't have a decade. Why did that all happen? And so, it graduates, but I guess it really comes down to whether we as a board want to move on this. And
Well, the other problem we've seen in the stormwater committee level is when homeowners start clearing parcels. This requires a permit, but there was, on the other side of town, an issue where a homeowner cleared their hill and really, clear cut it and basically wreaked havoc downhill. And that was within their purview because they own the property, but it's, the more we subdivide, I just want to, we just have to be aware of what's what's going on. I mean, it's not gonna split it into any more building lots, but these weren't supposed to be building lots.
Because he's adding, correct? He's not really, he's adding to his,
Right, no, I understand.
he's adding, he's not really subdividing per se, he's actually adding.
I do understand that, but then you have another owner involved also, as long as that they know that anything they do there needs to be permitted.
Now, to be clear, everybody's using their land anyways. We own it, but we don't control it. So the person next to it is planning to
Yes, I know,
build
the
something.
sheds are probably down in your own too, or some of the structures, there's gardens down there, there's lots of stuff in there, I understand that.
And actually, we tried, I think at one point, we have set 2 basins there that we tried to give the town. I don't think they really wanted it.
No, I mean, it was functioning today, I mean, it's as wet as it can be right there, but I'm just cautioning the town is all. Because I've seen it in the past, where you keep subdividing lands that weren't supposed to be used for building. But this, in this case, this is not going to be used for building, so.
Rick is raising his hand.
Yes, it's my understanding that this is only left as green space. I don't believe they're gonna
No,
building
they're not,
anything on it.
right, if you're
So
adding
the
into an
impervious
existing parcel,
areas-
there shouldn't be any.
No.
Right. But as long as the parcel owner knows that it's a regulated water body, and it requires a permit to do any clearing of work there, that's all.
Okay, so county planning and DPW have no adverse comments, just to mention, right? So how do we want to proceed on this? Do we have a motion from the floor to accept the minor 2 lots of subdivision?
So moved.
Bill, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Teeny, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you very much. All right, next item. Sessions Road, Mr. Frank Mastrovito. Tonight, he's looking to subdivide his parcel. There are presently 2 homes on the parcel. Is that what I understand? And just to let you know, neither the county planning department or the county TPW have any adverse notes. I'd like to address the board. If you have any comments, Mr. Smith? Sure, Mr. Smith. Yeah.
Oh,
Mr.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay.
It's a 29.5-acre parcel, and Frank, you're cutting out the 1.5 acre on the front where the house is,
Yes.
and what's in the back in the 28 acres?
On the backside of where I'm building, or?
Is that where you're building back there?
Yeah, so it was a series of 3 purchases initially. I had bought land off of Higby Road. That was a 46-acre approximately parcel. And then 2 Junes ago, we actually came to the planning board a year and a half ago, and we purchased a 4.5-acre parcel along a 28-acre parcel that had to be subdivided that belongs across the street to Karen Musty. Now that 4.5-acre parcel where we're building on, which is adjoined to that total 28, there's 2 houses on that existing parcel. So we're looking to break the 1.5-acre parcel away.
Because one house is going to be on the 1.5-acre parcel.
Yes.
Joe, did you have any issues with?
No.
Was this subdivided before?
It was,
And we're outside the time limit?
and certainly no over 5 and still mine.
It's still 9, okay. That's all I have.
Brian, or excuse me, Rick? Any concerns? Concerns? No flooding up there, no problems? Okay, Reimer, any concerns? Questions? Homer? I don't. John? Liz?
Yes, there was a new water line that was installed at the end of last year. When the water district was created in 2006, that it was pre-capped for the house that was in front. And so that now supplies the new house that's in the back of the parcel.
Okay.
I'm asking you,
I don't know.
you don't know, do you have water service to the new house?
Yes.
Okay. That comes from the pre-cap from front. It appears that it goes through the front parcel where the existing house is.
So,
At the front.
yeah, is there an easement? Are you saying your water runs on the lot that you're cutting out, it runs through that to get to yours?
Yes.
And do you have any easement or rights with regard to that pipe? Whose pipe is it?
Mine. I own the lot I'm cutting through.
Right now, right, but there's two houses on there, and the pre-cap was for that existing house, and they used it to tap the new house, but it goes through the lot that they
Does
want
it
to
have
sell. One pre-cap, because it was one house.
So what
It's a 4-meter box.
So they can only have one service?
No, they can have, it's a meter box right there,
Yep.
okay? On that front parcel that they want to subdivide. If we subdivide that, they have no legal rights to the
Right.
water.
Absent an easement or
Right.
access, sure. So,
This is with the water board.
It appears, yeah, I can check these things, but it appears that it was, I have the photos and I have where it was, the dimensions in the tap card from the original tap, and where it was tapped, but it appears, one of our engineers spoke with your excavator that they did serve the back one, but the excavator said that the front house was gonna be demolished, so they said, okay.
Do you understand the concern?
You have no rights to the water. If you take that parcel out, you have no right to that water.
How do I fix the problem?
Well.
You do an easement.
An
Yeah.
easement.
You would grant an easement to the parcel you're cutting out to have access to the water.
Or you would pull it out of the parcel, or.
How do I get the easement? What do I do?
Well, your attorney could draw it. We need a surveyed description and a proposed easement document. It's usually done like a deed. It's a recorded document that runs with the land.
So it goes into perpetuity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have no rights.
Does your driveway run outside that parcel also, or is it within the parcel? I'm not sure.
Let's see what the lines.
See, that's another thing you should, well, you have plenty of land here, and you have plenty of frontage to access your house if you had to build a new driveway, if the owners of that parcel said, but unless it's in the deed, you can't break the water. Because it's through that parcel that you're cutting out right now, you own it, you're fine.
So, okay, I think I follow. Even though I own that house and that parcel, I have no rights to that water.
Well, no, sell it.
Now you do.
Now you do, but if you sell it. You
Oh, I
sell it.
have no plans. That's, I'm not selling
it.
it. Not for sale.
So if he moves the line, like where the driveway is, and we discovered like if he moves it, let's say 30 feet, and that water line is within that driveway, parallel to the
To
house.
his house?
Yeah, to his new house. Does that still affect the water line? I'm sorry.
Well, if the line's outside what you're subdividing, then you're.
Do you have a big map?
Yes, I provided lots and lots of maps.
Let me make sure this is his.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, depending on how your surveyors of your engineers where the meter box is on the card, so it depends on how they moved it.
Frank, this is what you're cutting out?
Yes.
Okay. Where does your water line run?
This is for my driveway. The water line pretty much is right here.
Back to here. Yeah, so clearly there's got to be an easement across here. And is this the driveway to the back?
Oh, yeah. This dotted line right here represents
Yeah, so there's gotta be an easement across this parcel, in case you ever sold this parcel off. We have to make sure that water is running back there and they have access to the driveway. So really, somebody has, and if you want to have your lawyer call me, I can help you, you just need a description for that. Okay.
Do you think maybe you want to wait before we go forward?
I really can't. I'm trying to move into the house.
The board, we want to approve the condition that I be provided with a legal description and deed conveying the easement for the water line and driveway.
Since you own everything now, how are you prohibited from moving in?
Contingency upon his building permit, you can't have two houses on one lot.
Yeah, in order for me to obtain my certificate of occupancy, which is why I need that.
I mean, I work regularly with his attorney, Mike Killen. I don't see any problem with him drafting an easement for access for water and the driveway. The water runs under the driveway or next to the driveway?
Under it, yes.
And it's all this, it's a simple easement.
Yeah, so would that be in his best interest?
Yeah, oh, he's got it, yeah.
And I can assure the board, I work very quickly, responsibly. If I do get the conditioned approval tonight, I will work tirelessly to make sure it happens very quickly. And if you're more comfortable setting a deadline, I will meet that deadline.
So can we, Joe, can we give him a condition pursuant to?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess now my question would be, is Devin's advocate, right? So you give this condition and.
Are you referring to a certificate of occupancy?
Yeah.
Conditional certificate of occupancy?
And.
Does that work for you?
Sure. Because I know whatever they're going to request, I will honor it.
No, what I mean is, your banks will accept a conditioned certificate of occupancy.
Well, the other thing is the water is what scares me. Can they have the two?
Right now, we have a meter, and he's the one that's at risk, you know, he's being served by a meter, they're paying for the water. As far as the water board is concerned, I mean, my hat is more on the planning board side of things where you wouldn't want, you know, sort of restricted parcel right now goes through the other parcel. So as far as the water is concerned right now,
But that's not an issue in terms of getting another hookup. That's the only, because it sounded like he hooked up to the wrong hookup, but.
right. Well, like I said, the excavator told our engineer that was being torn down, the house in front. That's what, when they came in for the TAP application for that.
I have no problem with the conditional approval of the two-lot subdivision, conditioned upon receiving a satisfactory document creating an easement for the driveway and the water line.
The other house is on the left, the front house?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion from the floor?
It's a motion to grant conditional subdivision approval for the two-lot subdivision. The condition is that the applicant will provide the town with a recordable easement, a copy of a recordable easement document creating an easement for the water line and driveway across the 1.5 acre parcel to the larger 28 acre parcel.
I need to amend that the easement meets the requirements of the water authority, and in that you maintain frontage, okay? The frontage that's on the side, that's what's granting you the water, it's not the easement. The easement won't grant you water, you need
We have
land.
parcels that are landlocked around town,
Yeah.
and the water lines can't get to them, so.
Oh, okay.
But it means that there's two different.
Well,
It runs from Sessions Road.
yeah. Right, but the Sure. But in order to have water service, you have to have frontage on the main, which they do, but on the side of the easement, if they would need to have the lot to change, to have the water service in the lot. So we get 1 meter that way, right? So they're maintaining it on the side.
Oh, that's
They need frontage to get water, not just an easement. You can't
You
have
guys are
sort
a
of
pain in the ass
Yeah.
with that. I found out a couple times.
So the easement comes from the frontage all the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they won't do it.
Changing the easement in the right.
I'm trying to.
Not explaining myself right. So they're behind a parcel. They have a water line going through a parcel. Okay? They have plenty of frontage on the road. They need to maintain some of that frontage to,
For the back lot.
yes.
Yes,
To
which is what
have
happened
water.
over here.
Do you understand
Yes,
what I'm saying?
I do, yes.
The easement, if they ever cut that off, just with an easement, they don't have frontage, they will not be eligible for service. If that
If
wasn't
they sell
part of
off
the
the
larger-
whole
Right, right. If they-
$700 or
if they make
$800
that-
feet of road frontage, is that what you're saying?
Well, they need to maintain 20 feet of road frontage to have service within our rules and regulations.
They need to have a flag lot.
Yes. In essence, yes. The easement wouldn't be enough, they need to have frontage, which is their property, it's not the rights to traverse.
Okay, so going back with Dory as to what the motion is.
Can someone show me what just means on the map?
Yeah, what it means is, if this, your house is here, if that lot ever went that way, even though you have in your, an agreement to share, use the land for driveway and water, this would not be eligible to have water because you don't have frontage where a main is. You need to maintain a certain amount of property, 20 feet of property on the side there.
Even though I own this.
No, you're good.
And this. You know I own this too.
Yes, it does, you need to have, to make sure that you continue to own it. But see, that's not part of that property right now, correct? This is, okay? So you need to make sure you have, you always have at least this to get water. You need 20 feet in front of your main to get
So
water.
when my attorney draws up the easement, Mr. Collins.
I'll work with it.
Okay.
Well,
I don't have-
I mean, just
Yeah, I know what's
the
in it.
parcel shall maintain at least 20 feet. I think, or else it will be a stranded parcel, and even though you have the rights to have that pipe traverse it, it doesn't meet the water authorities.
So he needs to do two things.
He just has to know he can't cut himself off there. I mean, he needs that. Yes, he doesn't have to do two things. He has to do one thing. He has to get the
Just the
easement. But I just want them to know if they ever further cut that parcel, it needs to have frontage, or else they can't have service.
You wouldn't have to do just one thing, and then give yourself the 20 feet attached to the
Well,
property.
20 feet is by regulation, so
Yeah,
it's
but-
not really law, it's by regulation, they're not.
He already has plenty of frontage, so he doesn't have to do anything to gain frontage, it's just he can't, if he ever.
He's always got to have
eliminates
it.
He always has to have that.
So, Dory, do you think you can redact that motion?
Motion to approve with the condition to grant conditional subdivision approval for the two-lot subdivision. The condition is that the applicant will provide the town with a recordable easement, copied document creating an easement for the water line and driveway across the 1.5 acre parcel with the larger 28 acre, with the larger 28 acre parcel. And that's when Liz brought that in. So you might want to add something in there.
Yeah, early on with the easement suitable to the water authorities.
Suitable to the,
According to the rules and regs of the.
Yeah, according to the rules.
That meets-
I can add that in there.
Yeah, that meets the requirements.
Okay, can I get a motion from the floor? Liz? Okay, John. Right flank, left flank there. Can we get a second?
Yes.
Primer, okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Oh, you're abstaining?
I think so.
Okay, so we're not signing tonight. We are,
No, you can't sign.
No.
right, until Herb is done, okay, okay,
Frank, just have one call.
okay. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We're just trying to make sure that this, yeah, as you go forward in perpetuity, you don't ever have to come back to us.
We just want to do the right thing.
No,
Unfortunately, I see too many potentially.
we had a problem right out here a couple months ago, right near Marquis Cinema, no frontage, and then we had to make some changes, so
Yeah.
you're not alone. So thank you. Okay, item number 3, the Mudcreek Family Limited Partnership. This has to do with Aldi's. Aldi's received zoning board approval for parking space width middle of April. And they're making some changes. I don't know, someone here might talk a little bit about the project. So if you could explain the project, we're also looking to go to seeker review, but tonight we're looking for preliminary, that's okay, preliminary, and to send out for seeker. It's a proposed expansion of about 1,800 square feet with parking modifications.
I do. I'm Stephanie Albright with APD Engineering and Architecture. I'm one of the civil engineers on the project, and we gave a pretty good summary. Aldi's is looking to expand out on the front side of the parcel into, so this gray area here represents the expansion, and along with that they'll be doing, the normal curb modifications here. They'll relocate the light pole, retie in the sanitary and water over here. They enter the building in this corner, so now they'll just enter the new building wall. We have reworked the storm sewer. There's sand filters here and here, and then underground detention here. We're not touching the underground detention, but we did kind of rework the sand filter areas to still meet the water quality requirements. With adding the roofed area, the total impervious only changed by a few hundred square feet.
Aren't you over impervious area already?
Yes, but we added some parking spaces
Over there,
here,
so
so
that's-
just with the curb modifications ended up being 0.01 acres. It's very negligible, but there was a difference. Some of in this parking lot, water came to this one before, and now it's going to be tied in and come over this one, so it just changed the flow path. So we ran all of those calculations, and we're going to replace the sand filter and reset the grades and just kind of tidy everything up out there so it meets the original intent of the SWIP that went with the original Aldi project. Parking spaces, 85 are required. There's an agreement where we have 20 spaces over at the lumber business. So there's actually 66 here today, so it gives us 86 where 85 was required. So we did lose 3 parking spaces as a result of this, but we still are one over the parking requirement. You mentioned the variance that we obtained already. The lighting will also be upgraded to LED lights. The signage, they'll replace the pylon panel just with a new panel, so it kind of matches there. So the new panel will look similar to what is on the building.
In the zoning minutes, it talks a little bit about the driveway. Could you give us a little more of a...
On how that changed?
Yeah. Because isn't it coming a little bit closer to Route 5?
Yes, and it's only, I think maybe 15 or 16 feet that it shifted. So the existing drive came in here along the original frontage, and now it just had to get bumped out here, which comes a little bit closer to tying in with one of the drive aisles over here at the lumber. But it's a pretty minor change, and there's still a good stacking distance and a private drive.
What's the additional space being used for?
For more products. Aldi is doing a lot of these expansions all over the country.
You're not doing one of those drive-through like Hanford or Walmart where people drive in and
No, we'll
Somebody
probably back
brings-
to that again sometime, I'm sure, once they do that, but I'll just be doing a.
Just want to be sure.
No, that's not on the board yet. They're really looking to expand the products that they offer, so they're doing a lot more of the gluten-free and organics, their seasonal sales. They're just looking to add more inventory to their stores. They generally don't see a big change in the number of customers. They're not trying to get people from the next town over or anything. It's just trying to offer more product to the people that already shop at their stores.
Now, your width of your parking spaces is changing too?
That's what the variance
That was
was
the
for.
variance.
They were existing 9 and proposed 9. So I'm not sure of the history, if the code changed since the original project
It
or.
did. Yeah, we
Okay.
increased the size.
Yeah.
You're not anticipating any additional traffic. You're not going to have outdoor seating in a restaurant. You're
No,
just
yeah, we're not changing the use, we're not, Aldi isn't changing any of their business models or hours or anything like that. It's just to offer some more product.
You mentioned something about that you had an agreement with JK
Yes.
for other parking places.
Yes, so this is just a lease parcel anyway. So there's parking spaces just on the other side of the drive that there's an agreement.
Is it like a written agreement or is it a verbal agreement? Did you say part of that?
It is written, I didn't print it, I think it should be somewhere in, I don't know if it was with the ZBA submittal or the planning board.
It's probably written in the lease.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Joe, any concerns about preliminary approval?
All my concerns were met and approved by the zoning board. They just enacted those plans accordingly.
Ryan, has anybody had a chance yet?
Yeah, well, I reviewed it last week. Just for clarification, there is a portion of the new space that's going to be restaurants, where they're either relocating or moving restaurants into that. It's not all retail space. The only concern I had after the review was the fact that the stormwater, there is a little slight bit of impervious, and they were removing some of the area of the sand filter bed in front of the store. So we spoke, and we wanted to make sure that everything was balanced out, that whatever they were losing, they were gaining, the volume was covered in the other filter beds. So that was the only concern I had, and she addressed it.
Rick Sherman?
Ryan answered my question.
Okay. Okay, let's go around the room. Brimer? Wilma? John? Liz?
A couple questions. Rick, have you seen any stormwater issues after the construction? Are the beds working well as far as drainage?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what did he say?
Yes.
that's, yes.
Did he have concerns?
No, they're working well, as designed, I remember reviewing
Have you
it
seen
years
the-
ago. My question is, so for how much of the slope has to be cut back to account, I mean, how much cut work is
Grading
being
over
done?
here?
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is because right at that corner, if you go up to the parking lot at Zeb's, are some very large trees. The rest of it looks like it's pretty stable. The rest of the bank were the existing bank, but cutting it back a little with those mature trees, I didn't know if they were going to put any extra pressure. I was wondering how much work would be done at that corner, if you have to cut it back a little bit, because I'm worried about the stability of the slope with the large trees up on top.
Right, so we're really not going up the slope much. They'll obviously have to actually put in the footing here along the side of the building. They'll be, working a couple of feet in there, and then.
Yeah, it just looks like a couple of feet. You're not disturbing
Correct.
anything.
Yeah, so any of
about
this,
it.
the gray is the existing contour. We're not touching that, so we're really just tying it right there.
Anything else, Liz?
No.
Okay, so we're being asked to do two things tonight. Number one, grant preliminary site plan approval, and then also sending out for seeker, which will include the county review, the county planning 239 review, and DOT. So they'll be coming back with their comments. So we get a second round, second time. Naming agencies.
Joe, we're doing an amendment to final, or we're doing this as a separate site plan? It would seem to me it's an amendment to final. So you could grant preliminary approval for an amendment to final.
Can I ask seeker two, can we do the type 2 action for less than 4,000 square feet and take care of it tonight?
You still,
We still have to.
do you, it's less than the 4,000, and it's an unlisted action, so
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't really have to go
it
out.
really doesn't happen. Well, but you've done secret with a short one.
Unless you
But we still
determine,
have to go out to the county, 239.
right, but unless you determine some significance, I don't see any. It's impervious area on impervious area, except for a small portion. You're in the GEIS area, so all off-site seeker's done.
And the only thing I see is if the 239.
Yeah.
And the county has issues with, or the state with the driveway.
Yes, and we're just trying to get this approved so we can build it, and is it an option to do preliminary final with whatever contingencies for 239? It did go for the variances, and it's pretty minor, they didn't have any.
I think the tough part is, and Rick Sherman,
Yes.
you can address this. I mean, we've got driveways here. This isn't necessarily just about the town. And our role is to also look out for other agencies that are impacted.
But this isn't an agency driveway. This is all private.
Right, but you're within a certain amount of feet.
From, yes.
And that's still a failing intersection.
Rick, is there anything you can shed, or are you not really familiar with?
What's the question?
The concern about the intersection and the driveway.
It's a state highway.
No, we really haven't had input yet from the state.
Did the number of parking spaces change?
We'll lose 3. Yeah, so we're still above the code. We're 1 above the code requirement, but we lost 3 from existing. Yeah.
Right, so there's no generation due to the.
No.
No issue.
So, Joanne, how quickly can the county come back?
How can they say we'll look at it right away? However, I'm not speaking for Guy Sassen, but he's all awesome. 239, you know, they have planning department, state DOT. Middle Settlement Road, the intersection is a county road, so they're involved also.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got the. So, I don't know what the DEC would get involved in that.
I don't
It's
believe
up
it
to them.
changes anything.
I
to state highway.
can't make that determination.
I mean, there's fewer spaces, even though there's an increase of floor space, there's fewer parking spaces. So it wouldn't be a larger generator for
No.
traffic.
It was approved to what they have today.
It looks like a single amendment, 1,800 square feet or whatever. And impervious on impervious.
They didn't.
No.
Last week.
The state and county didn't have any comments on the variance.
Yeah, that's why I don't think, because there's no changes
But the
really.
zoning board
Right.
level
For them.
didn't have
At the
it.
zoning board level, yep.
And the county planning board did say they could expedite the review, because they've already seen the site plan, and said nothing changed. Or
Okay.
changes within the plan.
Does that sound something reasonable? That we could go forward with it contingent on?
So it would be like a preliminary, you say we go ahead with final, and then you list your contingencies, and if any comments came back, we would deal with it at that point?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you can call them to kind of move it along very
Right.
quickly.
Okay.
So it would be an approved amendment to final conditioned upon receipt of, receipt of is it a 239?
Yeah.
Of county 239, and any comments as it relates to the state DOT approvals, so long as said comments do not affect the approval. Favorable. Receipt of favorable 239. Well, sometimes we say they have no comment. So long as no adverse comments received in connection with the county 239 or New York State DOT review.
And the county already reviewed the variance, so they
you'll get those quickly.
The only thing I do want to mention though, I'm going to ask that we put both this and the prior agenda item back on next month for discussion purposes, because we've had conditional approvals in the past, and recently we had a conditional approval that we thought, and from an engineer, and it didn't quite go the way to what he committed to doing. And we didn't go back and look at it again. So at our next meeting, we're going to review this, and so hopefully, okay?
And so it would be final approval with a contingency, and then as long as everything is favorable, then there shouldn't be any issues. If there's comments is when we would have to coordinate if that would change the approval, and then we can touch base if it requires somebody here at the meeting, or if it's just a formality on your end.
And that's only because we've had some experience in the past with contingencies not being met. So we want to make sure. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to need what Herb had mentioned, amendment to final. Is it a motion? And so far, I need a motion on that. Seconded by. Everybody agree?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried? Any other business tonight? Yes.
Just for the future, anytime that a subdivision or project comes before us, I would like the planning board to receive a summary of the history of that project. Comment when, if possible, whether it's Brian or someone else, to look at all the other times it's going to planning or something.
I can take a look, but in all honesty, I guess we have to discuss, we'll have to take a look at that. I don't know how easy it is. Brian is not necessarily on staff here. And
He's
so.
paid by the developer.
He's paid by the
Separate
developer.
contract.
Unless it's a commercial site plan. I mean,
And-
I'll review
No, I
what you want.
Well, we don't.
Here's, I know that there's a list of like project, there should be a file on every project, but just the history, because the town, and I've seen it happen in a few places, has lost sight of stormwater in terms of subdivisions, where they're selling lots that shouldn't be sold, or, and the other thing for the town to consider at the town board meeting is for a clerk of the works or to pay for inspections afterward, because there are several projects that I'm aware of that haven't been constructed per approved plan.
Well, I think right now, town members want to speak, but I think they're taking a look at stormwater districts, right?
Yes.
And how to finance all those things, because it's not just an expense issue. Dave, or what you want to add anything to that?
Well, I think you make a good point. That's an ongoing
It's
concern, and we wrestle with it all the time. We need a way to put the onus on the developer
Yes.
when things fall apart, and I think we've made some progress in that,
Yes.
in that we're holding a bond
Yes.
so that they're held accountable when they don't perform the way they should have.
Right. Well, when I was more involved with the town several years ago, going out to sites, and it's not constructed per plan.
Right.
And so we just have to make sure that, we have the developer following through, right?
Right, and I think a classic is going to be the luxury apartments on 12B. There's some extensive stormwater management issues there that the developer has committed to, and I know Joe's aware of it, and before the CO is done, we're going to
We
make,
have nobody inspecting that, Dave.
nobody's inspecting it.
No.
But the developer is still on the hook for if it doesn't work. I'm not saying that we shouldn't inspect it, but we have a mechanism to go after the developer if it doesn't work.
But it's not only stormwater, it's like lighting design. I've seen
Yeah.
different light put in different number of parking
Well, that goes to
spaces,
the
things
issue
like
of there's no planning board staff. Years ago,
Right,
there was.
right,
and-
right.
And so it goes to, and Joe has told us repeatedly, the lack of enforcement.
Yeah. Right.
And I think this kind of came to light with that parcel on Genesee Street, right, Genesee and Jordan, that is now,
Genesee.
yeah, it's a mess. I mean, it's a mess.
Well, they're
And-
doing all the stormwater in the back.
Yeah,
They're doing all the grading.
yeah. So, okay, so we'll take a look at that. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, can I get a motion from the floor to close? John, second? Brimer, all those in favor? Aye, opposed? Abstained? Carried. Thank you very much.
I thought Dean Kelly seconded it.